Batwing number 21, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, art by Eduardo Pansica. So last issue, Batwing was sent to Africa to fight against a thing called the Marabunta, which is like a gang that are all based on ants. And then he ran into a godlike lion centaur. So that was a thing. And he got his ass handed to him as well. So this issue picks up with him continuing to get his ass handed to him. And then he's like, all right, time to try something new. And he electrifies Lion Mane, who's the name of the lion centaur guy, and starts throwing some punches. He's like, just give up, Lion Mane. And Lion Mane's like, dude, I am literally a god. And he gives his mild backstory of how he was a normal guy who was transformed because of some weird ritual thing, blah, blah, blah. He's a big lion dude now. And then while he's monologuing, Batwing takes some pepper spray, but like extremely hot pepper spray, and sprays it into Lion's Mane's mouth and also blinds him a little bit, which he thinks is going to be enough to take him down, but then Lion Mane like uppercuts him clear across the cave he's on. And Batwing's like, oh, okay, well, I need to take him out now then. This kind of just dodging and parrying thing isn't working out. So he pulls out this extra little thing and says, time to try something different. And then Lion Mane just throws mud in his face, and that's enough for it to completely be worthless. Like, he loses it in the mud. So Lion Mane is throwing him around the room a bit more, throwing him into walls and such like that. And Batwing's just like, okay, I am in serious pain right now. I need to find some way to beat him. And he throws some batarangs, to which they kind of just frustrate Lion Mane and make him angrier. So now he's just roaring and growling instead of making words. And he basically gets Batwing down to the ground. And Batwing's like, I can feel my ribs cracking. I am not okay. And at that point, he starts laughing. And Lion Mane's like, why? What possible reason could you have to laugh right now? And Batwing says, my ride is here. And then the Batmobile just busts in through the cave wall and pins Lion Mane to it. And that's it. That's the fight. That's the whole thing. And Batwing's like, hey, Batman, I thought I switched off my relays. And Batman's like, you can't just, like, hide from me. I'm Batman, and you're part of Batman Incorporated. Anyway, the cops are on their way. You got 10 minutes to clear out and let them take care of Lion Mane. And he's like, okay, well, what about the miners and everything else about this mine? He's like, don't worry about it. Wayne Industries is going to like buy the whole thing dirt cheap after this crime comes out. It's like, okay, well, that's fair enough. So then he makes his way back home to Gotham, and it's 1 week later. He's recovering from his injuries when all of a sudden this woman named Xena busts in through the door, and he's like, oh my god, Luke Fox, you are actually still alive. Why haven't you called me? And it's a whole big thing that lasts like 3 pages, but the biggest thing is that this is his girlfriend. He has not called her, and she's breaking up with him because she's so much better than that. Like, she is the type of girl who's like, oh no, you're gonna take me out if I'm actually worth something to you. And so he runs out the door and says like, wait, hold on, I want to make this right. And she's like, all right, well, show me that you can. And she drives off, and he's like, ow, my ribs. So thousands of miles away, Lion Mane is being transported by Interpol, and then all of a sudden the plane is attacked by the Marabunta in their giant ant jet, and they break into it and they say, hey, Lion Mane, here's the thing, you lost us that mine, which whatever, like, it was pretty useful for funding, but we didn't really need it. However, you know a bunch of our secrets, so we're gonna kill you. And he's like, you can't kill me, I'm a god. And he's like, okay, well, Batwing took you down, so how much of a god could you really be? And at that point, he bites off the arm of the guy who's going to shoot him, and then just proceeds to kill everyone else on board the plane. And then he leaps off the plane and says, I'm going to kill Batwing. And you'd think that'd be the end, but no. We have like several more pages in the home of Lucius Fox 2 days later. He's arguing with his sister, Tammy? They just say Tam, so I'm going to say Tammy for now. He's arguing with his sister because his sister's like, oh, you need to read a book and not be such a jock. And he's like, oh, I can make my own money. And then at that point, Lucius' wife and daughter come home. And I do want to point out that the daughter is 7 years old and is apparently a like child prodigy with an IQ of 190. And she's the one who says this, and it feels so on the nose. But regardless, Luke and Lucius are not talking to each other because Luke, bailed out on college and whatnot. He took a break year. So finally, later on in the night, they're in the dad's office. They're kind of making small talk when Lucius asks, "Hey, are you ready to get serious now?" And then his phone rings. Luke's does. It's Batman. He's telling him, "Hey, the Marabunta are in Gotham. They're probably after you. Keep an eye out." And as he looks out the window, there's just a whole bunch of Marabunta swarming all over Lucius Fox's house. That's the issue. So, I guess my main issue I had is, why did we go back to Africa for that one single, adventure? I thought either A, they were going to keep Luke in Africa for a while, and because he said he needed an entire year off, it would make sense that, okay, he spends an entire year in Africa and he's spending time there. But instead, it's this one thing. He gets his ass handed to him and he goes back to Gotham. And yes, he brought the threat with him back to Gotham, but he could have brought the threat back to him if he went to LA as well. I'm trying to figure out why we needed that little branching period of still being in Africa. It just seemed weird to me. Beyond that, it's fine. It's okay. If we're setting up Lion Mane as the main threat of this arc, or the Marabunta, I'm okay with either of them. They've done a good job of developing those characters. I guess my main concern now is, it seems like the Fox family, is going to be the supporting cast, whether or not they actually know he's Batwing or not. But I'm not getting enough of that, to the fact where there's 5 people at this table. I know Lucius and I know Luke. And I know that the older daughter's name is Tam. But I don't know what that's short for. I don't know the name of the younger daughter. I don't know the name of the wife. If they're going to develop this cast, I want them to do it sooner rather than later, so I'm not forced to sit here and be like, "Oh yeah, the mom." Tell me who these people are. Let me get to know them. So overall, art's fine. Not fantastic. The cover is superior than anything else that's in the issue. So I'll give this one I'll give it just a 6.5. It's okay. It's not great. I think that the opening fight scene took a bit too long, and it just feels like this issue's kind of a lot of nothing, but it's not bad nothing, so 6.5.